New WCEG Network on WCEG Click the live stream tab or watch us live on your smart TV, YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, and LinkedIn at WCEG Network. I'm Dr. Cassandra Wanzo, your host of Mind Matters for the next hour. We are the worldwide community empowerment group where we speak life into the community and we speak life into you. Subscribe free to our YouTube channel, WCEG Network. Like, follow, and connect with us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and LinkedIn. We have new platforms. Download our free mobile apps, iOS, Apple, iPhone, and iPads. Go to Apple Store and search for WCEG Talk Radio. Apple TV, search WCEG Network. Apple Watch, search WCEG Network. Android mobile phones and tablets, go to Google Play Store, search WCEG Talk Radio, and we're now streaming on TV at WCEG TV. Last but not least, the topics and opinions are those of the show host and guest, and not WCEG Network. Thank you for your continued support. Welcome to Mind Matters, where we discuss relevant mental health issues. I'm your host, Dr. Cassandra Wanzo. I'm a psychiatrist. I've been practicing in Atlanta for the past 32 years. I know I started as a teenager. Our co-host again this evening is Miss Shavett Athouris. She is a registered nurse and has been so for more than 20 years. She was a nursing professor for 5 years at a university in Atlanta, Georgia. She is the marketing director with Surge 365, a travel company. She's the administrative director of a nonprofit where they help develop and mentor youth. You can visit the site www.theosmovement.org. Welcome again, Shavett.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Yes. So our topic this evening, 'tis the season to be jolly. So why am I so depressed? Part 2. Again, 'tis the season to be jolly. So why am I so depressed? 1 year ago, 12 days before Christmas, Stephen Twitch Boss, who was the executive producer of The Ellen Show and DJ for the show, ended his life by a self-inflicted gunshot wound, shocking his fans, shocking his friends, and shocking his family. I want to start this evening by reading a poem written by a poet named Leslie Honoré of Chicago. It doesn't always look like darkness. It doesn't always look disheveled or discombobulated. Sometimes it looks like dance, like joy, like syncopated rhythms, like grace, like choreography channeling ancestors' dreams, powerful, successful, enviable. But sometimes we get so good at the act, at the entertainment, at wearing the mask, that we can fool ourselves long enough for the public to believe that we have it all together, that the airbrush portrait is real, that the Instagram smile is permanent, that the steps aren't automatic, that happiness 24/7 isn't toxic. But the truth is, the truth, living is hard. Lonely is real. Grief is too heavy to hold back. People don't check on the strong friends, the smiling friends, the dancing friends, the friends who look like they're on top of the world. Looks are often liars. Hopelessness can grow like weeds in the most beautiful garden. It doesn't always look like darkness. And it's so hard to say the words out loud. I need help. This is too much. I don't want to try anymore. Because we clap for the stunning, we clap for the performance, and we ignore the pain. It doesn't always look like darkness. Sometimes it looks like our reflection in the mirror. Sometimes it's just too hard to stay in the light. Our reflection in the mirror. Sometimes it's just too hard to stay in the light. If life feels like it is too much to take one more step, let someone hold your hand while you walk. You aren't alone. You aren't the only one. I've had those thoughts too. You are not alone. I promise. Wow, when she read
Wow,
that, it was so powerful.
that is powerful.
Like, so we don't always look like what we're going through. We don't.
Absolutely don't. And you said it right, especially right now during the holidays. Oftentimes those of us that do celebrate, because we know that not everyone does,
Mm-hmm.
we take for granted, that it's a happy time, that it's time with family. And, for some of you, that's your favorite time of the year. But then we often forget about those individuals who this is a sad time for them.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it brings back memories that they don't
Mm-hmm.
really want to bring back. Maybe their loved one passed away around the holiday season,
Mm-hmm.
and every holiday season we see that same situational type depression because it's the
Mm-hmm.
holidays. So we just want
Exactly.
to keep that in mind. And Doc, you said it
Mm-hmm.
so perfectly. When people seem happy, when people are smiling, they seem like they're on top of the world, they seem like they have it all together. Please don't underestimate that person is really coming across as the way that they seem, that the way that they appear.
Mm-hmm.
Because sometimes those same individuals who you thought were happy, who just, maybe you said, wow, I wish I could be like that person. They have it all. They got it all together. They have the
Mm-hmm.
house, they have the car, they have the wife or the husband, they have the kids. And, you may want to be like that person,
Mm-hmm.
not really understanding and realizing that that person could really be inside going through turmoil.
Exactly.
Right.
It
So,
brings to mind, I remember now, a friend of yours who was, you said he was described as the life of the party and he took his life.
yes, this was probably about 2 years ago in
Mm.
Atlanta, Georgia. Yeah, I have known him for probably about 25 years. Always
Mm.
had been the life of the party. I mean, go to restaurants or go out, and he'll
Mm-hmm.
pay for a whole table of 20 people. And
Mm.
you would appear that, he had it all together. He seemed happy. He was taking pictures with celebrities and politicians and commissioners and rappers. And
Mm.
he was hanging around all those type people, celebrity type people. And none of us knew what he was really going through inside, because he too shot
Mm.
himself.
Wow.
Yeah. So
Wow.
yeah, that can be the biggest deceiver, where you may not even think to ask because they appear to be having it all together.
Like she said, people don't check on the strong friends, the smiling friends, the
Mm-hmm.
dancing friends, the friends who look like they are on top of the world.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Looks are often liars.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then if you think about it, Doc, think
Mm-hmm.
about the friends that you know that are strong people or
Mm-hmm.
strong-minded people that's
Mm-hmm.
always there for other people.
Mm-hmm.
They're always comforting or consoling or counseling someone else. Where is it that they get their energy from? How
Mm-hmm.
are they rejuvenated? How are they re-energized if
Mm-hmm.
everyone's leaning on them? And that's something that we don't typically think about.
Mm-hmm.
That person that's considered to be a strong person.
Mm-hmm. And I think we as caregivers, we
Hmm.
tend to give so much, you know, people in the helping professions, physicians, nurses, or anybody in the helping professions, like we give a lot. And so we have to, pay attention to our own selves to make sure, that we're not giving so much that there's nothing left for us. So we've got to really pay attention to that because we can, drain the well dry.
Yes, that is very true. That is
Mhm,
very, very true.
mhm, mhm, mhm.
Absolutely. You know,
So, so what do you do to replenish the well?
oh wow, I'm
Mhm.
guilty. I am
What?
so guilty of doing so much for so many other people that I put
Mhm,
myself last.
mhm,
I don't oftentimes think about myself because it's
mhm,
always, how can I help somebody else?
mhm,
And but it can deplete you
mhm,
without you even realizing it can just sneak up on you. So for me to answer your
mhm,
question,
mhm.
um, I love to golf, believe it or not.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, my husband bought me a pair of golf clubs and said, "Come
Mm.
out here with me." And
Oh.
I thought that I wouldn't like that sport, but
Mhm.
I actually love it.
Okay.
I
Wow.
also, like getting massages, and
Mhm.
I love, love, love to travel, especially cruise.
Mhm. Mhm.
Hmm.
Mhm.
Hmm.
Yeah, for me, the traveling is number one. I mean,
Yes.
I mean, I just love traveling. And so like traveling out to a new place, there's nothing more exciting to me. Also, I
Yes.
like going to plays, theater, concerts,
Hmm.
or
Well,
shopping too.
Doc, I know that you look amazing,
Hmm.
and understand this wonderful doctor that you're looking at. Send photos of her up in helicopters overlooking the mountains. I mean, she is like a daredevil. I love it, and it fuels me. It's like, wow, if she could do it, I could do it.
Are
So
you kidding?
yeah.
Sometimes I have to force myself, like to getting in the helicopter. The first 15 minutes, because you can see, I mean, this glass on the bottom, all the sides, everywhere you look, you can see below the sides. The first 15 minutes, I held on to the seat frozen. And the first 10 minutes, I wanted to tell them to turn around, but there were like 7 other people aboard. So I said, I can't do that. But I forced myself to stick it out. And after about 15 minutes, I got comfortable and just was into seeing the beautiful ocean there in Hawaii, the waterfalls. And it was just the most exciting thing again. And I would do it again.
Yeah, so that's a great thing for those of you that are looking for self-care.
Hmm.
Um, you know, just taking a break, going somewhere. And if you don't want to go out of the state or the country, you can, a lot of times you can go right in your own city. I live in Atlanta and I've been here over 30 years, and people come from out of town all the time telling me some of the wonderful places here, and I've lived here like for so long.
Hmm.
So you can literally go in your same city or within that vicinity and go stay in a hotel a night or two. Go enjoy the town or enjoy the city. Do something different.
Hmm.
Something that you are not really accustomed to. That's
Hmm.
will help you to break out of your depression
Exactly.
sometimes.
Yes.
To do something out of
Exactly.
the norm, do something different.
Exactly. Do something different.
Mhm.
I mean, I know that there's Callaway Gardens with the butterfly room or
Mhm.
something that people go to.
Yep, there's
Yeah.
lots of things to do
Okay.
according to where you live.
Okay. So I guess we'll get into the holiday blues. What are the holiday blues? Holiday blues are feelings of sadness that last throughout the holiday season, especially the months of November and December, and it can also go into January. And some of the possible causes, lack of lack of sleep. So a hectic holiday schedule can lead to lack of sleep, which makes things more stressful. Excess eating and alcohol. So unfortunately, people sometimes turn to unhealthy coping mechanisms to handle holiday sadness and stress. So
Mhm.
initially, alcohol makes you feel good, it's a high, but the overall net effect is it depresses your nervous system. So excessive eating and drinking can make holiday depression worse.
Yes, it can.
Financial stressors, overextending yourself financially, or struggling to afford gifts for family and friends can can add to the burden and maxing out those credit cards. So I often say you don't have to buy something. You can give of your time, You can bake something, make something, so it doesn't have to be spending all this money. A gift of service and time is even more
Exactly.
valuable.
Exactly.
Mhm,
Exactly. You know, and when you're talking about holiday blues, that season
mhm,
typically runs from around Thanksgiving all the way
mhm,
through the new year.
mhm,
And most of the time it's temporary because it's those are the that's the holiday window. So if your symptoms last for more than 2 weeks, that can lead to a more deeper depression. So you want
mhm.
to, see someone if your symptoms last, more than 2 or 3 weeks or so.
Exactly. So if you want to get into what, like, I think we talked last time on what major depression, seasonal depression,
Hmm.
um, and we talked about how that they have shown that rates of depression are increased during the holidays. It's well documented.
Right.
And it said so some people experience something called major depression. And then there's a pattern of major depression that we talked about last time, a seasonal pattern that we call seasonal affective disorder, a short word SAD, seasonal affective disorder. So, seasonal affective disorder is a clinical depression that tends to appear in the late fall and can last until early spring. It's linked to changes in light during the wintertime and is more common in northern climates like Wisconsin, where I'm from. So if you feel depressed in the winter months, you're not alone. About 5% of adults experience SAD, and another 10% experience it, but at a milder level. So we're talking about 15% of the population that experience depression when the light, when the like daylight savings time and the days are shorter and it gets colder. About 15% of people can experience a depression based on that. So, what is the scientific explanation for seasonal affective disorder? The lack of morning light and changes in weather patterns disrupt your body's circadian rhythms. Your circadian rhythms are the 24-hour biological clock that regulates how our bodies function throughout the day. Everything is based on that, how hormones are released. Your whole body has a circadian rhythm, a biological clock. Normally, the body produces melatonin at night, which helps you sleep, and then the levels taper off in the dawn. But during SAD, the melatonin peaks later and stays around longer, so that makes it harder for you to wake up and be alert. The reduced light also disrupts the serotonin. Serotonin is a neurotransmitter that helps to regulate your mood and your feelings of well-being. In the winter months, serotonin levels are at their lowest because sunlight boosts serotonin production. What are the symptoms of SAD? Difficulty waking up, sleeping more, craving carbohydrates, daytime fatigue, weight gain. You feel like a bear, you want to hibernate. So once the depression hits, then after these symptoms, you can have the regular symptoms of depression, including loss of motivation and interest in work or things that you used to enjoy, persistent feelings of sadness and hopelessness, difficulty concentrating, social withdrawal, and anxiety. Who is most susceptible to SADS? Because the winter blues are connected with the weather and daylight hours, those living in regions further from the equator are more susceptible. Other people who are susceptible to SAD include women of childbearing age, who are 4 times more likely to be diagnosed, young adults, and people who have previously experienced depression or bipolar. And there are basically 3 ways to treat seasonal. I'm gonna go detail to all of them, but the basic 3 we'll start with. We talked about the resetting your biological clock with a bright light box. Light therapy boxes are considered the first line treatment for SAD. It's a home-based treatment. The light box emits bright artificial light in wavelengths that mimic sunshine to help regulate your rhythm, your biological clock, and it minimizes the impact of shorter days. So this we're going to put in a link, a place where you can go to get light boxes, because there's so many charlatans and people out there trying to sell you something. So Yale University went through all the light boxes that are available and vetted the ones that are best. And so we're going to be posting a link to show you which light boxes are the best. So this Yale University website is the best to go to find out what's the best. So in general, when you have the light box, you place it on your desk or table. You sit in front of it. You can do this while you read, eat breakfast, or work at a computer. The light should reach your eyes, but you don't stare into it. The light therapy is usually prescribed for 30 minutes to 2 hours a day, depending on the intensity of the light. Most light therapy boxes are 10,000 lux. That's a unit of measurement, 10,000 lux. And you use it in the early morning. It's usually started in the fall, continue through the spring. And when you first start it, it may take, you may notice an effect in a few days, but it may take a few weeks. Now, as far as side effects, the most common side effects are headache, eye strain, and nausea. And you may be tired in the first week because in changes in your sleep-wake patterns, but this will go away after about a week. And it may take, like I said, a few weeks to get the full effects. Number 2 is staying active and getting outdoors. We talked about part 1 about how exercise plays a role in increasing your body's endorphins, which is your body's own natural feel-good chemicals. We also talked about how exercises increases something called BDNF, which is the brain-derived neurotropic factor, which helps the brain to develop new connections. It repairs the failing brain cells and also protects the healthy brain cells. So exercise enhances both. And the third is nutrition. And we know that you are what you eat, so you gotta, eat well. Any thoughts about that, Shavett?
Yeah, and I like the part where you talked about the sunlight, because
Mhm.
with the sunlight, whether it's the artificial one on your desk or you actually walking outside, that really
Mhm.
does help boost the mood, help you feel more calm, and help you be more focused. So that's like a really big one. I like that one. That's something simple, that's something easy to open your blinds at home. A lot of
Exactly.
times those four walls can feel like they are just absolutely caving in on you.
Mhm. Mhm.
So again, do something different. Call a friend, go out to lunch or go out to dinner, with a relative or a friend of yours, and think about who it is that you would like to talk to, and not like you're sharing your life story, but talk to someone about how you're feeling, because that's going to help you, believe it or not, feel so much better by
Mhm.
opening up and sharing how you feel. It's gonna release you from a lot of that depression that you're feeling.
You're right. Isolation and loneliness is one of the precipitants of holiday
Hmm.
depression, because some people can't be with family and friends, and
Hmm.
that can be very depressing to be by yourself
Right.
during the Christmas holidays. Very
Right.
depressing. But
Right. And yeah.
so one thing they suggest, like if you're by yourself or feeling alone, is to volunteer. They're different, like kitchens that serve meals, like on Thanksgiving, Christmas, and you can go and volunteer and serve, and helping others will help to bring you out of your own self-centered focus, because you're doing something to help others.
Hmm. And then I'm going to
Mhm.
share this, because
Mhm.
I feel like there's somebody listening and watching. I don't know who you are, but there's somebody listening and watching who wants to be around their family, but something probably happened at previous events to where you don't want to go around them anymore. But that's okay. You want to call whoever it is that you have a beef with, talk about it, apologize, blame yourself like it was me. I'm sorry.
Mhm.
I miss you guys. I'm going to come over for Christmas or New Year's, um, and just make it happen, because as we all know, life is so short,
Yes.
and people leave this earth and go to their heavenly father,
Mhm.
and oftentimes we never got an opportunity to say I'm sorry.
Mhm.
We
Mhm.
never got an opportunity to say, or reconnect with that
Mhm.
person that you feel like you have a beef with, when all it takes to squash it is a phone call to say, hey, haven't
Mhm.
talked to you in a couple of years, miss you, want to see you again, want to be back around
Mhm.
family or what have you.
Mhm. Mhm.
It is what it is, but
Mhm.
that
Mhm.
can also alleviate someone out there from being alone, feeling like they have to be alone because you don't have to be.
That's very good points. Yes. Yeah. It often hurts me how often I hear someone say, "Oh, I haven't spoken to my sister in 5 years." I'm like, how can that be in 5 years? Right? Something can happen, they can be gone, and then you have that regret that you didn't get a chance to make things right.
Exactly.
Mhm.
Exactly.
So, like, like my mother and father used to say, never let the sun go down on your anger. They used to say
Hmm.
that, you
Yes,
know,
absolutely.
right. So if apologize, make up that day because the next day is not promised.
It is so not
I
promised.
promise. So you never
So
let the
not
sun
promised.
go down in your anger.
Yeah.
Mm.
And Doc, you talked about some of the different things that people do to deal with their depression or the holiday blues, alcohol and different things. But, also people try drugs.
Yes.
They'll do marijuana or they'll do, there's so many street drugs that are out there right now. And
Mm-hmm.
even watching so many specials that's out there saying how so many different things are causing so many issues with being, having fentanyl in it. But
Mm-hmm.
outside of that, just whatever drug you're trying, that can really take you to a place where you don't really want to go, take you outside of yourself, do
Mm-hmm.
things that you probably wouldn't normally do, just to try to cope,
Mm-hmm.
during the holiday season. So
Mm-hmm.
you want to kind of keep that in mind when you're trying to
Mm-hmm.
de-stress or trying to get rid of your depression. The alcohol or the
Mm-hmm.
drugs are not really going to get rid of it. They're just going to return as soon as that wears off. And a lot of
Exactly.
times, the marijuana can throw you into a whole nother place. I know we had a guest on the show whose child, I think, yeah, he was a guest whose
Mm-hmm.
child, was fine when he wasn't doing drugs, but then
Mm-hmm.
as soon as he started doing marijuana, he became someone totally, totally different.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And ended up, situation did not end well with some of the things that he had done once he did marijuana this particular day and was,
Mm-hmm.
shot several times by the police officer
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
because of what he was doing, and he died, in his
Mm-hmm.
20s.
Mm-hmm.
So, it really can just take you to someone else that you're not used to being.
Mm-hmm. And we know, like in the young brains, like those people that are under 20 with smoking marijuana, I know, people want, it's legal, but it can have detrimental effects in the developing brain to prevent it from functioning properly,
Hmm.
and it can precipitate psychotic thinking. I mean,
Hmm.
it can do that. People don't realize that, but it can precipitate. And the cannabis that we have now is stronger than what they used to have in the past.
Yes.
Before there used to be more THC, and now, it's more cannabis and it's much
Right.
stronger. And
Right.
not to mention that they lace it with fentanyl and xylazine and all these other substances that are, out there.
Yeah, you don't really know what you're getting.
Right, you don't know.
Hmm.
Hmm. Although
Absolutely.
I remember, like, well, there's someone who's like a patient, the mother would give the person, their cannabis because they didn't want them to go to drug dealers out there. So they would use their known dealers and supply the person with the cannabis so they wouldn't go out in the street. But that's dangerous too, because you never really know what's in
Yeah.
it, what it's
You don't.
laced
You
with.
really don't. You really
Hmm.
don't.
Because I'm seeing like people who use marijuana and it is laced with fentanyl, which can be reversed, but the xylazine you can't reverse with Narcan, so people can
Hmm.
die from that. And
Yeah.
the fentanyl and the xylazine are much more potent,
Yes.
than even morphine or anything that we have currently. And
Hmm. Yeah.
wow, there's so many things that people experiment with. Um, like that actor Matthew Perry. Now he was using ketamine. Ketamine is a substance that is used to treat depression, but under controlled situations. It's the nasal spray, um, esketamine, the nasal spray that they use for
Hmm.
depression. But you
Yes.
go there and you monitor it. But then when people use it recreationally, they used to call it vitamin K. It's a veterinarian anesthetic, and
Hmm.
so it can, cause respiratory depression and death. And then he ended up, he was in the hot tub and he probably, became unconscious and slipped into the hot tub and died. The actor Matthew
Yeah.
Perry, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So
So
many things
sad.
out there that people use to try to feel better. I remember he said once for him, they asked people, someone asked him, how do we know if you're about to relapse? He said, if I say I'm gonna go home and chill by myself, then that's a warning sign. So who knows what was
Wow.
going on with him? He said, if I said I'm going home to chill by myself, he said that's a
Yeah.
warning sign for him. And who knows, what he was going through. But
Wow.
yeah.
You're right. You're right.
So in terms of other things that triggering holiday depression is unrealistic expectations. Sometimes even having high hopes for the season can lead to stress and sadness. The over commercialization of the holidays can create the expectation that you're supposed to feel nonstop joy, holiday cheer, which can create pressure
Mm-hmm.
to feel that way, which makes it even more stressful. So you feel like, well, it's the holiday, so I have to be happy, right? But no.
Exactly.
So you got to set realistic expectations for yourself and for the holiday season.
Mm-hmm.
You got to set realistic goals for yourself. These are ways to cope with holiday depression. Pace yourself. Do not take on more responsibilities than you can handle. We talked about last week. Learning to say no. I'm learning from my 2-year-old grandson how to say no. Make a list and prioritize the important activities. This can help make holiday tasks more manageable. You can't do it all.
Mm-hmm.
Be realistic about what you can and cannot do. Do not put all of your energy into just one day, like Thanksgiving, New Year's Eve, or Christmas. The holidays spirit you can spread throughout the holidays from one event to the next.
Mm-hmm.
It's very important. Live and enjoy the present. It's called mindfulness. Be in the present, not dwelling in the past or worrying about the future, but living in the present. That takes away a lot of the anxiety and depression. Look to the future with optimism.
Mm-hmm.
Don't set yourself up for disappointment and sadness by comparing today with the good old days. You know, I know sometimes I do that. I think about when I was growing up with my parents and how it was, but that's in the past. This is now. So I have to learn how to create new traditions and enjoy the present.
Exactly.
Mhm. Again, as mentioned, if you're lonely, try volunteering time to help others.
Mm-hmm.
And something
And then
that you, mhm.
no, so Doc, I know that too, once you do seek help and your depression is lasting more than a couple of weeks, it's time to go and see someone and they may prescribe some type of depression medication. And then you have some people who don't really want meds. What are your thoughts on it's called St. John's wort, WORT?
Yes. Well, the thing is, St. John's wort works by increasing serotonin, which is what the
Mm-hmm.
antidepressants do. So it's the
Right.
same thing. It just takes longer. Like where an antidepressant may take a few weeks, it may take several months with the St. John's wort, but it's doing the same thing. St. John wort increases serotonin. That's
Yes.
exactly what it does.
Yeah, so those of you who are naturalists and you
Mm-hmm.
don't want to take pills, that's just something that's natural that you can take that's over the counter. So you would just go to the pharmacy section and ask them for St. John's wort, WRT, and take that. But like she said, that takes a lot longer to actually work. But if you're leery of
Mm-hmm.
depression meds, then definitely want to try that.
So the only thing, I mean, that's good. Like if as long, but if you're having suicidal thoughts, you don't want to
Mm-mm.
wait that long. Then you
Yeah.
definitely that's like the caveat. If you're having thoughts of wanting to kill yourself, you need to
Mm-hmm.
get help right away. Don't wait for this because it's going to take the St. John's wort a while to work. It may take like 12 weeks to
Yeah.
work. So you
Yeah.
want to go ahead and get help right away. So some of the other things that we've mentioned, they found that exercise itself and being outside helps to boost, like I said, your endorphins and you feel good. So exercise
Mm-hmm.
in itself can help with the depression. Just daily, regular exercise,
Right.
daily or at least 3 to 4 times a week for 30 minutes a day.
Mm-hmm.
Exercise, that's key. Number one is exercise and
Mm-hmm.
getting outside. So exercise is a big boost in treatment for depression.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And if you don't like exercise, you might could try, Pilates or yoga or, the meditation or, things like that as well. If you're someone that maybe can't exercise, then, just try some of those other things that she's mentioned that can also really help outside of getting, having peer support, somebody who you can
Mhm.
call and be a support to you.
But exercise can be, like you said, golfing. It can be dancing.
Yeah.
If you like to dance, just dance, every day dancing, As long as you're moving your body. So whatever it is that you enjoy, that you're moving your body, swimming, whatever it is. Some people, I guess, are not into pickleball or things like that. But
Well, I guess I'm thinking of somebody who may be bedridden, or
oh,
maybe they can't move or can't get up or can't really
oh,
exercise, and they're depressed for that reason. They
mhm,
can't. They feel
mhm,
like I've had patients who felt like they can't enjoy life because they're bed
mhm,
bound, or they can't really
mhm,
move or get out of the
mhm.
house,
Well,
kind of
they
thing.
sell these like these things they're like bicycles that you can just move your legs and you sit in a chair and
Hmm.
bicycle with these. I don't know if you've seen those, like,
Yeah, I have.
yeah,
Hmm.
the bicycle things, you can just sit in a chair and bicycle. The thing you don't have to.
Okay.
And I did
Okay.
this, like, the silver singles, whatever, through Medicare. They have all kind of exercise that people can do sitting in their chairs, like
Hmm.
through
Hmm.
AARP and all of that. They're exercise that you can just do sitting in your chair. They have all kind of exercise routines that you can do sitting in your chair. So you can
Right.
always, yeah, exercise and move, do something to move your body.
Right.
Right. And the exposure to sunlight, getting outside.
Hmm. Hmm.
What else? Let's see. Something you mentioned, finding holiday activities that are free, such as looking at holiday decorations. I guess they don't have the tree at Macy's anymore, but other
Yeah.
where they someplace I saw a tree. Where was that? They had a big tree. I can't remember where it was. But looking at decorations, says going window shopping without buying. Says watching the snowflakes. Hopefully, we won't be getting any of those here.
Hmm.
And
Yeah.
again, limiting your drinking. Because, like I said, initially it gives you a boost, but the whole overall net effect, it makes you more depressed. Trying something new, celebrate the holidays in a new way, spend time with supportive and caring people, reach out and make new friends, take time to contact a long lost friend or relative that you haven't been in contact with for a while and see how they're doing. Make time for yourself. Like I said, we're so busy giving to others, you got to make time for yourself. Let others share the responsibilities of holiday tasks. You don't have to do it all yourself. Keep track of your holiday spending. Overspending can lead to depression when the bills arrive after the holidays are over. Extra bills with little budget to pay them can further lead to stress and depression. So those are just some tips in terms of how to get through the holidays and manage, the holiday stress.
Hmm.
Any other thoughts that you have?
Well, they can also, I say challenge their negative thoughts.
Mhm.
So in your fight against depression, or, trying to come out of depression, a lot of times you just have to change the way that you think. So anytime that you are going throughout your day and you keep saying things that are negative, I can't do this, I can't do that, that's not going to work, kind of sit back and take a look at how negative you may be thinking, how negative your thoughts are, because we have to work on changing your thought patterns and your mindset, because that can also keep you in a slumber, to where
Yeah,
you're always thinking these negative thoughts. So negative energy is always drawn to you, because
exactly.
everything you say first comes out negative.
Exactly.
And I know there was a time when I didn't even realize that someone was like, I was saying something negative, but then I would say something positive.
Hmm.
But trying to reverse that, why just not say something positive first? Because the more you think negative, the more negative energy will be drawn to you. So again,
Exactly.
it's just going to be a matter of, whenever you hear yourself saying something negative, replace it right away. Speak something positive.
Exactly. It's like what they call a self-fulfilling prophecy.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So if
Yep.
you
So example, some of the things that we think aren't really realistic, it's a myth, it's not true. Because last
Mhm,
show we talked about a young lady who says she wanted to, you know, commit suicide basically because her hair was too curly.
mhm,
So was she bullied? Who told her that her hair was not pretty? So where does that come from? Is it
mhm,
being um, self-conscious about your hair or
mhm.
your skin color? Because someone else said my skin is too dark, I just want to not be here anymore on earth. So is it really realistic? You say to yourself, nobody likes me.
Mhm.
Well, is that really true? Or is that in your mind? Is that something that you're just thinking that no one likes you? So those are just examples of how, we got to just really sit back and think about, you know, what it is that you're putting into your mental, putting into your mind.
You're right. So that's what's in a sense example of like cognitive behavioral therapy, because that's what they do in cognitive behavioral therapy. They're trying to change your thinking and negative thoughts and their different patterns. Like one of them is overgeneralization. Like I
Hmm.
don't like me, so nobody likes me. You're just generalizing that to everybody that nobody likes you. You
Right.
don't like yourself, and so that means nobody likes me. So
Right.
different thoughts like that where you generalize, saying, like,
Yeah.
right, is that really true? How do you know?
Right.
You met
Like
everybody
like
in the
like
world?
what
Yeah,
evidence? What
right.
evidence do you have
Mhm.
that nobody likes you?
Right, because have you ever met everybody in the world? How do you know? You've never
Yeah.
met everybody, so how do you know nobody likes you? You never met everybody in the
Yeah.
world.
So
So,
that's like broad statements.
hmm
So again, it's a lot of times it's changing that, as they used to say back in the day, change your stinking thinking.
yes,
So yeah,
yes,
you got to
yes.
change that mindset and the way that you actually think.
hmm
Hmm.
You're right.
Hmm.
Because right, as long as you're thinking negatively, negative in is negative out. So what you put in
Yes,
is what you get out.
absolutely.
Hmm
Hmm.
Wow. Any questions from our listeners at all or thoughts to Miss Penny, Miss Vivian? Any questions or thoughts from our audience? No. Okay, so we're coming up on Christmas Monday. Yeah,
I
Monday's
know
Christmas. Yeah,
this year
Monday.
went by so super fast. Seems like wow,
Hmm
so super
Yeah.
fast.
Yes, it is. So it's
Yes, it is.
almost 2024.
Yes.
But it's something that helps, right? As far as if you're feeling down, is think of something to be grateful for. Because when you're being grateful, it's hard to feel sad or depressed.
Hmm.
Yeah, I have this one patient who I can't, a lot of specifics, but she's had a lot of traumas, losses in her life. Oh my, just really horrendous things that you wonder how she's still standing.
Mm.
So I tell her, so every day find something to be thankful for. So she just takes it day by day to find something that one day. Otherwise, she would kill herself. She's someone who had thoughts of killing herself every single day, daily
Wow.
thoughts of suicide. She's been through meds, ECT, I mean, everything, and she still has a difficult time finding, she's still depressed and still suicidal. And so every day
Wow.
she has to focus. I tell her to focus on something to be thankful for that day, whether it's your grandchild smile or whatever it is, find something to be thankful to get through that day. And then the next day, find something that day. So just take one day at a time. Because sometimes that's
Absolutely.
all you can do.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And then too, facing your fears. Like some of you are so fearful of certain things that you're afraid to try anything.
Mm,
So those things that you might be fearful of that you don't want to do or don't want to try, with the help of a support person, start
mhm.
facing those fears so you can kind of get out of that. And that,
Exactly.
that can help you also.
Okay. Oh,
That can
someone, yeah, asked for the helpline numbers. So let me give the helpline number. There's the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline, 1-800-273-TALK. Actually, it's now 988. So the
Mm.
National Suicide Prevention Lifeline is now 988. They simplified it. So all you have to do is um, call 988, or even text. You can text or call 988, and there's someone available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. They
Mhm.
even have services available for people who are hearing impaired.
Mhm.
They have something
That's
through
great.
the TTY line that they can get help, but this is available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. They'll help you through whatever you're going through, plus they'll help to find resources in your area once you've dealt with whatever that particular situation that you're dealing with. So 988 is the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline.
Yeah.
So
And I
someone,
and I
mhm,
would love for all the listeners out there, including myself and you too, Doc,
mhm,
let's all think of one person out of all the listeners out there, one person that we know, whether it's a family member or a friend, and just call them, check on them, and see how they're doing. If we do that
exactly,
once a week, once a couple times a week or once a month, who knows? You just may be able to save a life.
exactly, yes.
So I'm going to think of that one person. I'm going to think.
Hmm. Hmm.
Hmm.
Because
And
you're
we
right.
actually did. We actually did talk to a relative of ours about 3 or 4 weeks ago,
Hmm.
and called just to check, and they were very depressed, very
Mm.
depressed.
Mm.
So we've been checking on him,
Hmm.
just to make sure that he's okay, doing periodic phone calls because he's out of
Hmm.
the state. So yeah. So
Hmm.
think of somebody that you can call to just say hi. And when they say I'm fine, that's they're not fine.
You're right.
That's
Hmm.
the all telltale of everybody answer quickly.
Hmm.
Oh, I'm fine, I'm fine. And I'm guilty.
Hmm.
I used to say that all the time. I'm fine, I'm fine. But that's so you have to go beyond that.
Exactly.
Instead of saying, "Oh, okay, I called, let me hang up. They're good." No, no, go one level deeper. When
Hmm.
they say they're fine, because I know that's what they're gonna say no, how are you really doing?
Exactly. You're right. Yes.
Right.
Yes.
And if they say they are depressed, please make sure you ask the tough question that you think is tough, but ask them flat out, do you have thoughts of wanting to hurt yourself? You have to ask that question if they tell you that they've been depressed or they've been really sad or they've been really down. Don't think that
Exactly.
it's not going to put that thought in their mind. That's a myth. But you
Hmm.
need to ask if they ever have thoughts of wanting to hurt themselves. And if they say they do, then ask them how do they plan on doing that.
Exactly.
Yeah. And then you may have to call for help for that person that particular
Hmm.
day.
Hmm. Because
Hmm.
sometimes people they've saved up pills or they've purchased a gun or yeah, you don't know.
Hmm.
Yeah. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Mhm. Wow. Well, someone mentioned other things. Get toxic people out of your life.
Yes, that is a good one.
Right. Yeah.
Yes.
Mhm. Mhm. Let's see. Oh, they asked about some of the games that we mentioned for families. It was called Culture Tag, is the name of the game that we played at our family reunion based on different sayings. It's a lot of fun, and especially Christmas time or whatever, you can play called Culture Tags. It's available on Amazon. I ordered it after the family reunion. It's hilarious. It's based like on our culture, African American culture, and it's called Cultural Tags, and they have different categories of sayings that they would say in church or that your mother would say or whatever. These are sayings that we all know, as African
Mhm.
Americans, So it's a lot of fun called Culture Tag. So that's a lot of fun.
So I want people to do too. I want to go back to the person that said get
Hmm.
toxic people out of your life. That's a
Hmm.
very good one. And
Hmm.
keep in mind, guys, in our life, this thing called life, you have
Hmm.
to know and understand that sometimes people come into your life for a season. Sometimes people come into your life for a lifetime. Many
Hmm.
people that we meet are not people that are around for a lifetime. They're
Hmm.
there for a season.
Hmm.
Sometimes you can find someone that's really a great friend, or you grow together with, and you get to be
Hmm.
100 years old, and you guys still friends and talk and hang out.
Hmm.
But a lot of people, God put people in our space for a season.
Hmm. Hmm.
Now that may be fall, winter, spring, but it may be, sometimes a season can be a week or two.
Mm.
Sometimes it can be a month or two or a year or two. It may even be 5 years and then you kind of
Mhm.
fall off. But yeah, it'll be okay if you get rid of those toxic people. I like that. Whoever made that comment, that was
Exactly.
great. That was great. You won't miss them. There's billions of people in the world. I promise you, you can replace them. You won't miss them.
Because that can really bring you down, being around your toxic
Yes.
people. It can really bring you down.
Hmm.
Yeah. Because your toxicity is like, can poison, a whole, situation. So,
Absolutely.
mhm. Okay.
Absolutely. Any other comments over there?
No other comments. So, but this like will be the last show of the year. I'm not sure when I'll be doing the next one because I'm having knee surgery next month, so I'll be out. So I don't know when I'll be doing another show after that. But this is the last show of the season. If anyone has any comments or thoughts or questions but yeah. Yeah.
Well, I would like to say thank you, Doc, for always, doing such a wonderful show, giving so much of yourself to not just your patients, but you're such a gift to the world. I tell you that all the time.
Mhm.
So thank you for doing the show and blessing so many people that are out there that need to hear you.
Well, the feeling is mutual, and I want to thank you likewise. And I feel that you're in my life, forever, not for just a
Oh
season.
yeah, yeah. You're a
Yeah,
forever
yeah,
kind of. You're
forever.
not a
Yeah,
season person.
right, forever. Yeah, and that's been a blessing, really. Yeah, to have met you and have you in my life. Truly a blessing. Truly a
Yeah,
blessing.
likewise. You are such a
Mhm.
blessing to me.
Mhm.
And for those who don't know, we actually work together.
Yes.
We work for the same agency.
Uh-huh. And someone
She's
put
my
it right.
patient's doc.
Huh?
I told him that you're my patient's doctor. You're the doc.
And somebody put right for a season or for a reason, a season and a lifetime. Reason, season,
Exactly.
lifetime. Yeah.
Yes.
Reason,
Yes.
season, and lifetime. So,
Mhm. Mhm.
mhm. Wow.
Absolutely. I used to get so upset when you meet somebody and you think they're cool or they're great or somebody that you
Mhm,
connect with, and then all of a sudden they're not answering your calls. You're like, what happened? What did I say? What did I do?
mhm,
I
mhm,
don't understand. And I started saying, hey, I get it. It's not meant for that person to still be around. You gotta
mhm,
know that. You gotta understand that.
mhm, mhm. Yeah, it's called ghosting.
Yes.
Sometimes people do that because they don't have a courage to be honest and direct, so they'll just
Mhm.
respond by ghosting you.
Exactly.
Mm. Someone said, yeah, their reason or season was over. That's right. Yeah, their reason.
Yes.
Mhm.
Yes.
The reason season was over.
Hmm. As long
Mm.
as you can realize that, life will be so much easier. You
Hmm.
won't be so sad or depressed because that person's, you're not hearing from them anymore. You'll
Hmm.
understand why. Just keep it moving. They're not meant to still be there.
Exactly. I like that. Keep it moving. Keep it
Yeah.
moving. Keep
Hmm.
it moving.
Yep.
Mm. Okay. Well, don't think I really have anything else to add, but I do want to wish everyone, someone said Merry Christmas, Happy Kwanzaa, Happy New Year, or whatever you celebrate during this season. I
Hmm.
want to wish that for you and for a very prosperous and blessed new year.
Yes, absolutely. Happy holidays.
Well, I guess we'll look forward to meeting you sometime next year at WCEG. Like I said, I don't know exactly when I will return because I will be having knee surgery, but when I do return, yeah, I look forward to um, being with you all again in your homes and households.